Yo, what is up, guys? It's Glock. So, a decent Fragpunk update just dropped with tons of changes to maps, nerfs, and buffs to Lancers, and the release of a whole new Lancer. Figured I'd go over some of it, give my thoughts on it all. I'm a little late, but we move. I got some mid gameplay in the background, nice little D-rank game. But part of the update is that all older match replays are expired and no longer watchable, so for future reference, get all your clips before the game updates, or they will be gone forever. Alright, let's start with the elephant in the room, the brand new Lancer Dex, the Lizard Kakashi Man. Honestly, while looking at the patch notes, which I'll throw on screen, I thought he was going to be overpowered. Being able to leave a clone behind and go out fighting basically like having a Phoenix ult all the time sounds crazy, but in game after playing around with him for a bit and against him, it's decent. His clone only has 20 health, so he's really easy to kill, and when he returns, his health is maxed out at whatever health he left with, and I believe they balanced it decently well. So if he leaves with like say 130 health, he'll come back and be maxed at 130 health. That's what I could understand from it. I might be wrong, but that's how it looks. The fake clones are a decent little util. They're not all that powerful. They slow you down if you shoot at them or walk over them, but honestly I haven't seen anybody fall for them a single time yet. Then he has some temporary armor, which is actually pretty good. It's like 50 extra armor, and it takes 50 points of damage before it goes away. It's really good just in general, and then for pushing out with that 20 health, it encourages like an aggressive playstyle instead of ratting it out, which ratting will still definitely happen. I could just sort of see it now. He's out now. I suggest you give him a try and a few standards, see what you like about him. He's pretty decent in my opinion. You know, good job, Agatar. Moving on, there's some changes with arcade modes and stuff. I'll be honest, I don't really ever touch modes outside of ranked, sometimes standard, TDM once in the blue, but they should be on the screen if that's your mode. There are some training map changes that I'm really excited to play around with. They added some features to help you play around with lineups, which I'm sure will be useful. You can watch projectiles and where they land, as well as refire them just with a press of a button. The ability to add bots and a few other things. Labbing out stuff in training just got a lot better basically. Super good quality of life changes there. Another big change is just the mix up of shard cards in all modes, it looks like, including ranked. I've already played with a few of them. It's certainly different. I'm not too sure if it's better or worse as of right now. Everything will be on the screen, but I'm just going to focus on shard class since that's the mode that I play the most. There have been 67 cards added and 25 removed as well. Some cards actually been taken out will really surprise you. It's not like they were overpowered, they just, I guess, don't want them there anymore. The full list is a little lower, and I'll show that a little later in the video. Also, Battle Pass changes on the 29th with 2 superb skins for Jaguar and Hollow Point. So if those are your mains, you know, rejoice. Little note under that about Fragpunk Invitational, that'll be interesting to see as well. Keep my radar on for that. Alright, and let's go through some of the Lancer changes, buffs, and such. I'll give some thoughts if I have any. Nitro's up first. I wouldn't really say any of these are direct buffs or nerfs. Nitro will now get an alert when she's being attacked while operating Chug Chug. Even though I'm 100% biased as a Nitro player, I actually didn't mind there being no alert. Dying in your Chug Chug felt like punishment for bad awareness or bad positioning, but I'm also not mad that they added it. It's a good quality of life change, so that's cool. Same thing with Nitro now being able to destroy individual parts of her wall by interacting with them. You would do this before by just shooting or knifing it, so it's nothing more than quality of life, not really a buff or a nerf. Now, something that we're going to notice across the board for most trap placement characters, that they made some changes to their hitboxes or made them easier to see or shoot. It's basically easier to destroy. I think this is probably a good change because hitting traps sometimes felt like you were hitting it, but also maybe not quite. It was just weird. It just kind of felt bad. Something that you kind of felt. So I don't mind these changes. I think those are overall good. Now, Spider. Look at how they massacred you. Huge nerfs. I'm the vice president of the Spider Hate Club, so I'm gonna have a barbecue in celebration of one of my biggest ops getting nerfed. All jokes aside though, these nerfs are huge. Spider's teleporter has to be placed closer to him and cannot be placed in locations where standing is not possible, which I don't think is too bad. It's kind of just, it's definitely a nerf, but it's not that bad. The teleporter's health has been reduced to 175, which only makes me wonder what it was before, because it was super tanky. I mean, 175 is still more than your actual health, but it's acceptable. The really big nerf is after a friendly player uses a portal, other friendly players will not be able to use it for 8 seconds. This is a big nerf and demolishes the quick rotation abilities of the TP, as well as the zipping back and forth from site to site, creating a presence everywhere. Sad day for spider mates. But even worse than that, that's not the end of his nerfs. Spirited Away now has an indicator making it easier to detect, as well as a 1 second delay upon landing before it begins to pull you in. This is going to bring the free spider kills down a ton. I couldn't tell you how many times I got caught running or something, switching to melee, just don't have enough time to get out of TP before, because pulling was instant. And this will reduce that by a ton, so I'll be rejoicing on that. Small nerf to Pathogen. Her trap has its size adjusted to make it easier to detect. I think this is a good change because sometimes you just really didn't see it. Now Jaguar gets the normal trap hitbox adjustment that most traps are getting, but also Jaguar will have 3 of his live wire traps, which is a pretty decent buff for all the 10 Jaguar mains out there. Chum, normal hitbox adjustments, but also a buff to Chomper, making it attack once every second. Not sure what the previous delay was, but it was longer than a second, or at least it felt like it. Corona Buff City. Dash has its distance change from 5 to 6 meters and makes him immune to most debuffs. Not sure which he's not immune to, but it's something to note. His Ashes to Ashes Molly, speed and damage reduction lasts 1.5 seconds longer after he leaves the effect. The taking damage interval for enemies reduced from 0.2 seconds to 0.1 seconds, so just an overall damage buff, and the damage reduction effect increased from 20 to 25%. Corona buffs across the board. Broker got a small buff. You cannot shoot the rocket while dashing, it appears. Personally, I'm not a fan of this. The rockets are already pretty good, now they'll just be easier to use, but it is what it is. Now Hollow Point. I feel everyone knew a nerf was coming for Hollow Point, but just not how. So can no longer detect enemies. I think this is a bad change, and I don't even play Hollow Point. The detection just felt like the whole point of her character. Odd change, but I suppose so. Additionally, Hollow Point smoke screens are no longer spammable as the cooldown time has been increased. I think this is a decent change. Hollow has been demoted a bit, I think. Should still be useful, but no longer a hard counter to Zephyr, and no longer a Misty Sight monster, I suppose. Accent, some quality of life changes. The feel of firing and hitting sticky bombs has been optimized. Now if the fire button is pressed during the throw, Accent will fire immediately after completing the throw. I don't use accents, so I'm really not a fan of it either. So I'll be honest, I have no idea what this is talking about, but it looks good. Also, fixed the issue where using knife dash and tackle simultaneously will significantly extend the tackle duration. Again, no idea what this is, to be honest, but changes there. Finally, Zephyr. Little bug fix. Fixed an issue where, under certain circumstances, weapon switching time was abnormal when exiting invisibility state. Small change, honestly. Kind of surprising no buffs to Zephyr. She's really underutilized beyond like gold. Then again, she's also really good in gold. Then we got some weapon changes. First, changes to the utility guns. We got a bug fix where blasters did not display its template when thrown directly below the character. Nothing big. Then we got a real change to blasters. The blasters have been given a dual fuse mechanism. Basically, it's an increase to blaster's range in air. If the blaster collides within 2.5 seconds, it will work as always has. On the other hand, it has up to 3.5 seconds of airtime and would explode in 3.5 seconds if it does not collide with anything, just giving it a range increase. Good change if you ask me. There were some angles that were just impossible to hit with the 2.5 second range. This should fix that nicely. I like this change. Jump throw as well has been adjusted during ascent to allow firing more precisely. This is a good change and hopefully allows jump shots to feel a little more usable than they did before. Next, we got some changes to the cold shoulder. Damage in the 0 to 20 meter range increased from 23 to 26, and from 20 to 26 meters from 20 to 22. Just an overall buff. I think this is a decent change as well. The discipline, my gun of choice, the reload animation has been adjusted for empty mags, increasing bullet insertion time from 1.01 seconds to 1.35 seconds, but the overall reload time is the same. Nothing much there, but good to know. Glad they noted it. Optimized and upgraded the visual effects of the Cyber Saint skin's melee weapon blitzer, and fixed some visual performance with certain weapon skins. Sounds good. Now I'm going to throw up those shard card changes. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's a ton of additions and removals, but I'll put them on screen. It'll be a mix-up for sure. The patch notes ends with map changes, which there are a slew of map changes. I'll talk about them in general while I show them on screen. There were a good few pre-round wall position changes, bringing the attacking side wall further up and the defensive wall back a bit, as well as some actual map changes like removing head glitches, some direct nerfs to Nitro for sure, where her walls are just no longer as powerful or just kind of obsolete in certain positions as they were before. And just in general, a good bit of attacking side changes that makes it easier to attack, because the meta previously was extremely defender sided, and it was a win on defense or lose the game most games you got into. Now hopefully attack will be a little easier and balance out a bit. We'll see if that's what happens. It seems like that's the idea behind all this. Additionally, there's some updates that I haven't specifically seen in the patch notes. Apparently, since I haven't tried it myself, controller gameplay and aim assist has been improved or added or something to that effect, and it feels pretty good to play with now, but not overpowered. So we won't be seeing a sweeping controller meta, but there's some good news for our controller users out there. Also, I'm not sure what Bad Guitar Studios did behind the scenes, but Fragpunk just runs better now. The game feels much more optimized. They were beginning to bubble up performance issues that made the game sometimes frustrating to play, but they're completely gone with this update, and better yet, the game runs even better now. Players across the board are reporting consistent, higher frames, so if optimization was a problem for you before, it shouldn't be now, and you should be able to play the game enjoyably. That's all we got for the patch notes today. Just wanted to make a little video on that, get my thoughts on it, where there was possibility to get some thoughts on. Appreciate you for watching. Adios. Have a good one.